Good morning, guys. We have some new leaks, the last leaks for the September pack, and it's definitely something a lot of people were hyped for. So we have all the archetypes known right now. There will probably be nothing new for September, so the next thing will be in October then. So what is the leaks? You can let me know in the comments right now. You can make your guess and we will hop over into the leaks right now. By the way, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, hitting the thumbs up and the notification bell. This would help me out a lot, especially the notification bell. And now without further ado, let me show you what we are getting. So we are getting the Light Swan support in the form of, for one, Minerva, the Athenian Light Swan. You need one tuner and one non-tuner monster to make this. And then this says Light Swan monsters you control cannot be banished by card effects. It says by card effects, so you can they can be banished by cost or for cost basically, which this is a nice protection effect against bestials obviously. And then you can only use each effect of Minerva once per turn. If this card is synchro summoned, which is the way you will summon her, you can send Light Swan monsters with different types from your deck to the graveyard up to the number of Light Swan monsters used as this card's material. And then you can also banish up to 4 Light Swan monsters from a graveyard for cost. So basically this card would negate itself if it weren't for cost, which is indicated by this semicolon here. This is cost to activate the effect, not the effect itself. Send that many cards from the top of your deck to the graveyard. So Minerva, the Athenian Light Swan. We obviously also have the old Minerva, you could call her the XYZ Minerva, but this is the new one. A very, very cool, very, very strong. We will also get the Light Swan Dragon Ling. It is level 4 dragon effect if you have a Light Swan monster in your graveyard, which is obviously something that you can easily achieve. You can special summon this card from your hand. Nice. If this card is special summoned, we can send one Light Swan card from our deck to the graveyard except Light Swan Dragon Ling. This is nice. This is kind of like a Tearlament's Rhino Heart. Obviously these two archetypes, Light Swan and Tearlament's, kind of work the same, and you can also play them together. We will see this in a moment. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one dragon monster with 3000 attack and 2/6 defense from your deck to your hand, obviously referring to the boss monsters, the Light Swan big monsters that you will probably not play, unfortunately, so this doesn't really come together. But in theory, this is a very strong card that is firstly an extender, then can also, when it's special summoned, send something, and then can also add something if it is sent to the graveyard. So a really strong card in general. We have Wise, Light Swan Archfiend. It is a Fiend tuner, so we have this level 4, not a tuner, and then this, which is a tuner, which can obviously make the Minerva the Athenian Light Swan. You can place one other Light Swan card from your hand on top of the deck for cost. Special summon this card from your hand, so another extender, very nice. Send the top 2 cards of your deck to the graveyard, and then if this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, so milled by whatever effect, it might be a Tearlament's effect, might be a Light Swan effect, we can target one Light Swan monster in our graveyard except Wise, and then special summon it. We can only use each effect once per turn, and as I already said, it is a tuner, so we can use this to go into our Minerva. The next card we are getting is Light Swan Aegis, a trap card. Target face-up cards your opponent controls up to the number of Light Swan monsters you control for cost. Negate their effects until the end of this turn. And if this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, we can set this card. Very nice. So this also has a mill effect here. The thing is though that we probably won't end up on many Light Swan monsters, so that's why I think this card is not that great. You could obviously play a pure Light Swan deck if you wanted to. There are a lot of cards already in the game when it comes to a Light Swan. We can go check that out. What we have here already, you can see there is a big list, and obviously we have the Punishment Dragon as well as the Judgment Dragon. So these are the 2 dragons that you can search with your Light Swan and Dragon Link here. A lot of cards that you could play in this deck. You can see a big list here. So a pure Light Swan deck is something that you can definitely play if you wanted to. And then you just saw it here when I typed it in. We also get the Enlightenment Dragon, a new card. This is also the one getting the animation. Unfortunately, a card that, and you can see this right here in people who play this card in their Light Swan lists. Not a lot of people are playing, unfortunately. If we go check out Light Swan Dragon Link, you can see that we have a lot of more lists here that play the Light Swan Dragon Link because it's obviously a nice card. Minerva also in a lot of decks, as well as Wise here, and I think also some people playing the Light Swan Aegis, but the Enlightenment Dragon, unfortunately not. This will get the animation though, so yeah, do with this information what you want, I guess. we have to play a suboptimal version of this deck if you want to get the animation of the Enlightenment Dragon on the field. So it needs the Judgment Dragon and Punishment Dragon. So it's this one, the Punishment Dragon, as well as the Judgment Dragon, which is, I think, why you don't play this card, because you don't want to play these two bricks. Must be special summoned from your extra deck by banishing the above monsters, one each from your field and graveyard. So very specific summoning conditions, which is obviously bad for this card because it means it can't really be made. Once per turn, quick effect, you can pay 2,000 life points for cost, banish all other cards on the field and in the graveyards. So a very strong effect, that has to be said, especially against the graveyard reliant decks that we have in the meta right now. And then once per turn during your end phase, send the top 4 cards of your deck to the graveyard. Also amazing if you combine this with Tear Elements, for example, then you could in the end phase maybe fusion summon even more interruptions. So in theory this is a really strong card, but in practice you will probably never play this. And then if this card in its owner's possession is destroyed by an opponent's card, we can add 2 of our banished monsters to our hand, 1 Judgment Dragon and 1 Punishment Dragon, and then you can special summon both, ignoring their summoning conditions. So also quite nice, we can get back the cost basically that we have paid for this fusion summon here. Yeah, so the good thing is, I guess, that you can just fusion summon this contact fusion from the extra deck, so you don't need a specific fusion card to summon the Enlightenment Dragon. This is something that is quite nice, because this means that you don't have to run another brick in the form of a fusion card in the deck. But then again, not that great here. We can take a look at some of the deck lists that have used a Light Swan. We can see there's a top 64 in German National Championship 2024. As of note here, we have some cards, or there are some cards that we don't have, that we can play. For example, we can't play the Hot Dragon Archfiend King Calamity here, so we can't Calamity lock. But we have, for example, Tear Elements Kid Colors that we could play. You can see that they're combining this with Centurion as well as the Horus Engine, and then the Millers, the Shufflers, basically from the not Kashira. Now I'm blanking on this, from the Ishizu archetype, sorry. And yep, you can see they are playing as like this. We have another one, top 16 in Chile National Championship 224, and you can see the combination of Tear Elements together with Light Swan here. And as I already said, they don't have the kit colors. We have the kit colors, so we definitely will be able to play this a bit differently. They also have the King Sarcophagus, so the combination of these 3 archetypes here, that the list that we will be playing in Master Duel could look like this kind of. We can also see the Visas Amritara, which is also quite nice. We can make this as 1 tuner and 1 light monster. So for example, a Light Swan Dragon together with the Wise could make the Visas Amritara, and then Visas Amritara could obviously grab us the field spell, which is obviously the Tear Elements field spell, getting us into our Tear Element place. Obviously Tear Element is the stronger of these 2 engines that we are running here. When we compare this with Light Swan, we are playing some of the old cards. For example, the Wolf cannot be normal summoned, must be special summoned by a card effect. If this card is sent from the deck to the graveyard, we can special summon it, which is quite nice. We also have the Phallus Light Swan Archer, also an old card. If this card is sent from your deck to the graveyard by a monster effect, special summon it, and then we can tribute this card, target 1 monster our opponent controls, destroy the target, send the top 3 cards of our deck to the graveyard. So a very nice card for going second. But yeah, this could be a list that we are playing, or that we could play over in Master Duel. Just keep in mind that we also have kit colors that we can use, so we might have a bit of a better position to use this deck effectively. Then again, we don't have the Merly, we don't have the Sprint, so you could also argue against this. But you can let me know in the comments what you think. Are you excited for Light Swan? I know, and I have read this in the comment section, that a lot of you were expecting this deck, were hoping for this deck. I honestly have to say that for me, the next pack will probably be a skip pack. I will craft the Ragnar Rika stuff, and then we'll probably craft the 1 boss monster from Aroma, just to play the new Rika version that I have showed you. If you don't know what I'm talking about, I have the video in the top right corner where I showed you the new Rika Ragnar Rika deck, which I think will be a very strong deck. You can check that out in the top right corner. But unfortunately, the rest of the pack is not that interesting for me. And once again, a bit unfortunate that the animation goes to one of the cards that won't be used. I think this is also what will happen to the Ragnar Rika stuff that we were getting, because Ragnar Rika will not be played as a pure archetype, but you will play it with Rika. So you will use a Ragnar Rika, the Evil Seed, as well as a Ragnar Rika Samurai Beetle and the spell card, as well as the link to the Ragnar Rika Skeletal Soldier. But I think it's very unlikely that Skeletal Soldier will get the animation. We will probably see the Link 5, the Ragnar Rika Stack Sovereign, getting the animation, which once again is then an animation that we will basically never see. So in terms of animation, this might be a very poor pack. But yeah, not very interesting here, not a very very interesting pack. I hope that October will be more impactful. I'm still hoping for Temper Dragon, and if you're wondering what other leaks have been leaked so far, you can check that out on my YouTube channel. As I've talked about, we have the Ragnaraka stuff as well as the Ancient Gear stuff. If you want to take a further look at what this means, how strong these archetypes are, then you can go check that out on my channel, as I've already mentioned. Otherwise, this is the end of the video. Let me know in the comments what you think of the Light Swan leaks. Are you excited? Is this a skip pack for you, or will you invest heavily into this pack? Can you even after the Voices voice pack, or have you spent up all your gems on that? Let me know. Thanks for being here, and we will see each other in the next one.